God, it's hard to make sense of all these troop movements, because obviously they're probably all gathering in, is that High Garden? I'm not sure if that's High Garden that they're gathering in, you know. I think that's too far inland to be High Garden. It must be somewhere else that they're gathering. But that seems to be where they're heading for. Which is fine, you know. I'm more than happy. Well, I'm not more than happy to let them get into position, but I have too many troops that are way out of position myself to start thinking about entering conflicts. Well, now I've just noticed that we have some troops near the capital who are currently engaging with some forces from the Reach. That looks as though it'll be the first battle of this war, and it should go in my favour, so long as there's no large groups of reinforcements sent their way, which there doesn't seem to be. Now, it is going to take an awfully long time to get those troops up through the Prince's Pass, but in the meantime we do have plenty enough troops to deal with most of the Reach forces. Right, so we've had some forces from Blackhaven have been engaged in just in the Stormlands there. We're now able to move those forces from Rainwood away. We've got a fleet of 14 here, which basically needs to link up with another fleet in order to be able to do any good. We are quite low on ships, unfortunately. So we have 36 ships there. That's not enough to ship all of these troops out at the same time. We can't quite manage the bulk of my Dragonstone forces, so we're going to send some of the men that were already embarked to the shore, and then we'll put our main Dragonstone force on those ships. Oh, now there is a force of about 11,000 Reachmen heading for King's Landing. So that small group of reinforcements was successful, but it's Randall, the second Tarly, I think. So they're facing down my allies there, and also... Oh no, wait, no, I got confused for a second there. I thought those 10,000 allied men were from the Reach, but that was an overlap with the standards. Probably keep my men on the coast. There's a castle in that territory that belongs to the Reach, so I technically have to siege that to capture it. Now, there is a fleet of ships from the Reach in, well, coming along the Broken Arm now. And I'm not entirely sure what their purpose is. I don't know if they're going to land troops on the southern coast of the Stormlands or on my coast, but we will see. Oh, well, actually, they're all my coast. We have 3,000 men in the ships there. I'm not entirely sure where to send them, to be honest. But I suppose if we send them to our territory in South Cracklaw Point, we can take out those 200 men before they have a chance to do anything of importance. You'll see that my allies have been attacked in King's Landing, and they don't really stand much of a chance there, but we have just taken out a little group of Reach troops. The war score hasn't actually been affected in any direction at the moment because the battles have been too small. It might change after the one in King's Landing. But for the time being, we have 3,500 men of the Dornish Marches, hoping to attack the Reachmen, or at least they seem to be playing a somewhat dangerous game, because there is a large force of Reachmen, seemingly all heading north rather than south, but we won't dwell on that too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lump our fleet together, because both of them separately are slightly too small to be of much use. So what we're going to do is lump them together and ship our troops to wherever they need to be in chunks. So I think that the Reachmen are just meeting in one place now. We have minus 3% war score from that battle in King's Landing there, where they were just completely wiped out by that force from the Reach. Right, so we should have about 4,500 men from Dragonstone, and I think we'll send them down to the southern coast of the Stormlands, somewhere around there. Oh, in fact, we'll send them to intercept that force of Reachmen. That must have been what the boats from the Reach were dropping off. They were dropping off 1,700 men to presumably sneak up behind the Marcher forces, who now have a large force from the Reach bearing down on them from several directions. But we can more or less take care of this with our own troops. We won't worry too much about the other forces. Admittedly, it would detract from our war score, and it would be nice to link up with the forces from Red Watch, certainly. And I think that might be where we'll head, unless, of course, the territories won't support that troop number. Now, this is the thing that you need to take into account. Oh dear. So our forces from the Dornish Marchers are in a battle that they would normally win if there weren't another 17,000 men bearing down on them. So it looks like we'll lose the battle in Summerhall there. With any luck, we'll be able to intercept those Tyrell forces, not Tyrell, Meadows forces, the Reach forces, before they make it too much further. And then we'll just keep troops grouped along our coast. We've got most of our troops in the Prince's Pass now, so we will be able to start moving them through there and either besiege territories in the Reach or reach the Stormlands. Now, the Reach have just bundled all their troops into this effort to defeat the troops from the Dornish Marchers, and obviously they're going to win pretty decisively there. There's about 20,000 of them, which is obviously double the number from Red Watch, so hopefully we'll be able to take out this lump of reinforcements at least. Or indeed this one. Yeah, they, unfortunately the troops in the Reach just got away from me there. They've really done a number on my reinforcements there, and now my war score is minus 11%, but I'm not too worried still. They still seem to be in the process of lumping their troops together, and I'm going to do the smart thing and send my reinforcements with the Lord of Red Watch, and hopefully that will be enough to protect them from any attack from the Reach. In the meantime, we've got this battle against the 600 men in Stonehelm, which should, and indeed is, fairly decisive in terms of victory there. Still not enough to affect the war score in any way, unfortunately. Oh dear, 3,000 men they lost there. Although they took 1,000 with them, so that's something. So the forces of Red Watch are doing a good job of besieging Adadel there. Interestingly, I think that's where my grandmother possibly comes from. I can't remember what she is in relation to us, but we have a large force there that we can also pick up and send that way. So this is where things are hopefully going to pick up a little bit of pace in terms of troop movements. So we've got 3,500 men there that we're going to send to reinforce the 4,000. We've got nearly 10,000 men in Prince's Pass. Okay, there we go. Now we've got just shy of 11,000 men. This should make it 8,000 for the troops on the southern coast of the Stormlands. We seem to have the advantage of numbers, but it's very much a case of making sure that they're all in the right place at the right time, because this is a very difficult place to... The Reach you can get from territory to territory very swiftly, but in the Stormlands and indeed in Dawn, it takes a very long time to get to anywhere. Now there is a force of 2,000 men that has broken off from the main force from the Reach. It's tempting to try and go after them, but I don't think we'll have the time before they link up with the main Reach force. Now, one mistake they are making is that most of the territories in the Stormlands can't really support 20,000 men, so they will lose men from starvation if they carry on lumping them together in that manner. So every cloud. So my forces, the allies from the Dornish Marchers have been pretty much entirely wiped out. I think they've just raised some more levies as well. It's captured the castle there in the south, which will help alleviate our war score. It has actually gone up, and I think that's because the troops from Red Watch have captured Adadel. So once they've succeeded there, they'll probably move on. For now, though, we have 100 Reachmen just to kill our whim, I suppose. Excellent, so we've captured Seashell's Hall there. and I think that's the only one that we needed to take. So our war score is at -7% now, so that's very much bought us some time. We can send some ships around to pick up those men on the southern coast of Dawn. But I'm still a little uncertain as to where to put my troops, because generally in the past my method of attack has very much relied on the ability to attack quickly from the coast. But if we commit our troops to the bulk of the Stormlands, then what we're going to get caught up in is very much a land-based attempt to outmaneuver the Reach. Oh, there's another 1,000 men just suddenly come from the Dornish marches. It seems somewhat illogical, but I'm not going to complain too much because this has gone in my favour, although I can't see them making much of an impact on the war now.